Hello, I'm Stuey Sykes, and I'm about to take you on an extraordinary trip around Australia. We've already travelled extensively in this vast island continent and loved the many places that we've been and seen. But I've devised a novel method of going to different places this time where we otherwise would never have gone. I may not look it, but I'm actually 70 this year. You probably thought I was older. And I've made this plan to identify and visit all the places in Australia whose postcode ends in 70. The beauty of this concept is that it's eminently repeatable. Whether you select your own birthday, your grandma's age, the last two numbers of your own postcode, or any other numerical criterion you select, you can create your own wacky agenda and aim to complete it within a calendar year. This map shows all the towns and villages which have a postcode ending in 70, and we're going to visit them all. So today we're in Darlington, WA, Western Australia, and the postcode here is
6070.
6070. And this is Ben.
Howdy.
And Ben was born and brought up here. Ben, what can you tell us about Darlington? What sort of a place is it?
It's a fairly unique little suburb in the Perth Hills, and I think the people that live here tend to think that they're quite different from all the other suburbs surrounding them. I guess it's a strange little community of artists and tradies and doctors, and it's a real sort of mixed bag of personalities and
Hillbillies?
Well, yeah, it's a funny little area. Yeah,
So how far out of Perth are we here?
about 35 minutes out.
So and we're and this is by the way, we're heading east if we go 30 minutes.
It still feels fairly isolated out here because you got quite a big hill and you're surrounded by bush, and it's only really 35 minutes out of the city. But if you talk to someone that lives in the city and you say you live in Darlington, they say, oh, so far away. Realistically, it's only 35 minutes.
And roughly how many people are there in this, like say in Darlington, in this postcode, would you think?
I think around 5,000 or 6,000.
Okay,
It's
a good little community.
Yeah, it's deceptively big. Yeah, it's a strange little area.
Is there any one thing you would recommend that we try and do while we're here?
You should have a walk down the bridle path here. This used to be the train line that came from the city.
Okay.
So this little track here, you just see opposite the post
Yeah.
office. If you go in that direction, you'll head towards Greenmount.
Mhm.
If you go in that direction, you'll head towards Glen Forest. So you could walk, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes up that way and back. It's a really nice little trail.
And there's no trains anymore?
No trains.
How long since there used to be trains?
Darlington used to be a little getaway area for people living in the city. So they would come up here on the train track, and the well-to-do businessmen would have picnics and stuff.
Oh,
in
nice.
the hills. So
All right.
I don't know how many years. I couldn't tell you, but
They've taken that up now and made it
good
into a
100
walking
or
track.
100 or 120 or something.
Yeah. Well, Ben, thank you for your time. Appreciate you being in the project. Really appreciate your time to talk to us.
No worries.
So this looks like the Railway Reserve Heritage Trail that Ben was describing there. But that looks like a really nice walk, doesn't it? Looking back the other way, you can even see the old station here, which was where the trains used to go, but a while back. Nowadays, a walking trail from Greenmount on the Perth side to Glen Forest and Chidlow in the east. I think it's fair to say, though, from where I'm looking, there doesn't really appear to be a huge amount going on in Darlington. This is Linfield, and you arrive there by train. Linfield is a suburb of Sydney. It's on the Pacific Highway going north out of Sydney. East Linfield is also postcode 2070. It's a wealthy, well-heeled suburb and very well established on Sydney's northern shore. And as it happens, Linfield is at the end of the rainbow. Well, this afternoon we're in postcode 4070. It's in Queensland, and the township here is called Moggill, and believe it or not, this is the Moggill ferry that goes across the River Brisbane, and we're just waiting for the ferry to come across. We're on the ferry itself. This is the man who controls the ferry.
Yeah, sort of. I'm down here annoying people, and there's a bloke up there driving it.
And how much do they have to pay to come across on the ferry?
$2 for a car.
That's awesome. And it just takes about 3 minutes to get across. How wonderful is that?
Yeah, when it's busy, the main time you're waiting for is just loading.
Just loading
Get
and
across
unloading.
in 2 minutes. Yeah.
Well, good to talk to you anyway. So we're on the ferry with Sam and Jacinta, who live in 4070. It's a fairly rural sort of little suburb, isn't it?
It's very close-knit, very tight-knit. All the community get together and do a lot of stuff, a lot more so than other communities around here. It's actually really unique.
Today we're in Payneham in South Australia, which is a suburb of Adelaide, and we're actually in a sub-district of that called Marden, which is quite exciting because I have a nephew called Marden and it's his birthday next week. So here we are in Marden, South Australia. Daryl, what's the best thing about living in this postcode?
The quietness. It's in the eastern suburbs of Adelaide. It's what I would call a leafy postcode. You look around at the types of trees, especially when it comes into autumn, with the way they change.
Yeah, what do you like least about this suburb, if anything?
Traffic. There's a lot of traffic on the arterial road near where I live.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of sirens.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for your time to talk to me.
No worries, mate.
So I think this is what Daryl means about it being quite a nice leafy suburb. The suburb of Payneham. See down the road there to the southern part of Adelaide. We're out in the eastern suburbs at the moment. It is quite a nice area, but you'd have to say he's right about the traffic. Pretty busy just here. But this is Payneham. Peter, can I just ask you, what sort of things are unique about Northcote?
Well, there's a few things that are unique. It's a very cool place to live. There's a really good vibe here. Lots of young people into alternative kind of points of view.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of music here. There's about 4 music venues up and down High Street, which is like a 200-metre walk from here. And there's a tram down High Street that takes you straight into the city.
Which is handy as well, I guess.
Oh, very handy. So it's easy to get around here, but it's just a really cool place to live. It's really well located.
Now, I believe that King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard come from around here. Is that right? Do you know them?
I've heard of them, but I'm not sure where they're from. You may well be right.
They've got an album, Sketches of Brunswick East.
Oh,
That's not very far from here, is it?
It's very close.
Yeah, maybe they're a local band. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Peter, thank you very much for being in my project. How jazzy was that? This is the heart of Northcote 3070, and as you can see, they're not short of graffiti artists here. In fairness though, I'd have to say I don't think they're very good. It's a pretty cool main street though, and rather pleasant with trees and plenty of interesting shops. So in this episode we zeroed in on postcodes 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6070. We went to Darlington, Linfield, Moggill, Paynsham and, in the end, Northcote. Next time we go for locations with 170 at the end, and that will take us somewhere else again, I can tell you. Places you would never dream we were going to go to, when we'll be experiencing one for the road. I'll see you then.